Bonjour, book club. Megas here, back in the library. Oh my God, chapter 32, The Little Paris Bookshop. I'm blown away. How she always does this to us. She takes us on the most beautiful trip through France with her words that create an image that we can imagine, we can smell, we can feel, we can taste. So beautiful. And then there's some just little nuggets of wisdom in here that were mind-blowing. I hope young men and women are reading this because there's so much wisdom in here. And then the last sentence, she always leaves us on a cliffhanger. I'm so excited to find out chapter 33. Matter of fact, I'll probably do 33 tonight because I don't think I can wait. If you know what happens, don't tell me. I always want to wait so I can share the excitement in the video. So let's start with the beautiful prose. The sky was in flux. It had begun to take on the deep blue glow of the air above the Mediterranean at the height of summer, when the water and the heavens reflect and intensify each other. Like layers of puff pastry, blue upon blue upon blue, the land of blue pastries, murmured Max. Oh, and he's got this, I think he's coming back into his flow. His muse has come back to him, and I think he's getting ready to write something beautiful. Says he had discovered a delicious addition to forming combinations of words and images. He would play tag with the words. Occasionally, Max would get his word game all mixed up, and Sammy would chortle lustily. Her laugh was like the honking of a flying crane. Oh my gosh, I don't know what a crane sounds like, but I'm picturing like a goose or something. Just, I don't even know. I might have to Google that up, the sound of a crane. She has been playing this game with Purdue still. She really wants Purdue to figure out this mystery, but she's going to do it and have fun. This girl, Sammy, I'm liking her. She just experiences life. And through here, she tells us a lot of her different adventures and places she lived and worked and loved. And so fun. She would sit in the wheelhouse playing, remember the yes or no game with Purdue? So does Santa Ray have kids? No. A husband? No. Two? She laughed like an entire flock of cranes. I can't imagine. That's beautiful, but probably endearing, I think. Let's see, what else? Oh, okay, so now this is getting exciting. As we get closer to the end of the book, they're really close to Manon's home. And he's thinking, should I just ring Luke's doorbell and say, hello, you old wine whisperer. I used to be your wife's lover. I'm almost nervous for Purdue. What is he doing here? I don't understand. I guess he's seeking closure. But is this the way to go about it? We shall find out. But it adds to the mystery and the excitement and the suspense, the high stakes, you know. Oh, let's see. Sammy's talking about how about the body, and like she doesn't remember her father that's passed, like his voice, but she remembers like her little hand in his hand. Makes me think of that country song, Daddy's Hands. His words weren't always gentle, but I've come to understand. I'm not going to sing for you, sorry about that. But you know what I'm saying? Just she remembers the smell of him, the way he walked. And then this kind of hit me in the feels. She remembered where he always used to sit in his armchair. There, nothing but air there now, stupid air. And when my grandpa died, I remember my son was just really small. And whenever we'd go to Grandma and Grandpa's house, he'd run over to the armchair where Grandpa was always seated watching his programs, you know, and he wasn't there. And I remember my son pointing, and he's like, you know, like, where's that guy? You know, because he enjoyed sitting there hanging out, having snacks and watching TV with them. And it kind of hit me in the feels. And then this is beautiful. And I hope the world learns this. As a matter of fact, it says Sammy got on the onboard mic, where you can talk out over the loudspeaker of the boat. I used to, matter of fact, oh my gosh, are you guys with me? I'm sorry for my little tangents I go down, but I was a boat captain. And then when I moved to the Pacific Northwest, I started doing tours of a lake. I used to work on the ocean. Now I'm on a lake. And one day they just sent me out on an eagle watching boat. And I was supposed to come up with some kind of banter about eagles. I didn't know anything about bald eagles. And I was actually taking out an elementary school with their teacher who had been studying eagles. Now they got to go out and look at them. They just sent me out cold. And so I take them to the eagles, and I'm just making up crap. And I'm on the microphone speaking out the loudspeaker. And as I'm making this crap up, I remember the teacher like looking in through the wheelhouse wheel at me like going, what are you saying? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't know, man. You want to take the mic? I just steer the boat. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my, I just broke into a sweat remembering all the feels of that day. And then I went home, Googled it, made out a list, and I was a little more informed for the next one. But I'm sure that teacher will never forget that boat captain and my lesson on eagles that had nothing to do with eagles or any truth whatsoever. How did I get off on that? What were we reading here? Okay, so she's on the loudspeaker and she's talking to the world. We are loved if we love. Another truth we always seem to forget. There's so much here I want to unpack. We are loved if we love. Have you noticed that most people prefer to be loved and will do anything it takes? Diet, rake in the money, wear scarlet underwear. If only they loved with the same energy, the world would be so wonderful and free of tummy tuck tights. My friends, that is everything, right? You can't really love someone else if you don't love yourself. We should be more concerned on loving them instead of us being loved. And it makes me think of my mom. She used to do marriage counseling, and I remember her talking about relationships being like two ticks, just sucking the life out of each other. Like, give me what I need. Give me the love I need. Give me the affirmation I need. But they just suck them, but they're never giving, right? And then when they're both sucked dry of life, they move on to the next host. That's something right there. If we take the time to just love, not worry about ourselves so much. Sure, we want to be loved. Hopefully you picked a good partner that will catch on to what's happening here. But when you're feeding them and loving them, you get that love back. It's so beautiful, so deep. And then it cracked me up. I think what made me laugh about this, their scarlet underwear and exercise and diet and making the money and you're working out. That's when you know your relationship is screwed. I remember when my ex-wife she got a gym membership. She bought new panties. I was fucked. It was over. She was looking for the next host. My friends, I was done for. Oh, so now Purdue, he's thinking of Catherine as they're talking about all this stuff and love. So I'm thinking he loves Catherine. And he's thinking back that they had both hankered more to be loved rather than having the strength and the courage to love. Look at me, I'm all serious. I've been hurt by this before, you can tell. Are you getting this? Loving requires so much courage and so little expectation. Oh my. Huge. What else do I have under? Oh, so now this is cute, funny, and deep, as this book seems to go. It says, Sammy was incapable of telling a deliberate lie. And then it goes on to some of the funny things. I got to touch on this, though. She was Magi material. And if you guys didn't see my video earlier today, please go watch it. It's called Magi Books. And we went somewhere. I didn't expect it. I just kind of going with the flow, and it was powerful. But three things parents in the Zoroastrian religion had to teach their children. One was to ride a horse, two, to shoot a bow and arrow, and three, to tell the truth. And so, of course, I think of that when she cannot tell a lie. And can I say, you guys mind? You guys are used to my tangents. These days, with the Magi, you don't really need to know how to ride a horse, right? And so sometimes I joke I ride a motorcycle, the Iron Horse, but there's also the Star Tistra that is represented as the white horse that fights the black horse. So it's basically light against darkness. It's about the fight between good and evil that we talked about in today's video. And it's the message of the Magi, right? We be the light, we be the love. We ride that white horse, Tistra. And Tistra is the star Sirius. And the belt of Orion, I look at as the three Magi, and you'll notice they point to the star Sirius. Like, our job as Magi is to point to that pure starlight, Zoroaster, and then to shoot a bow. Here I go on my tangents. I love you guys. Thank you. I know who's still here, and I know who's clicked off already. To shoot a bow. I have a bow and arrow. They're one of my best friends ever that I knew from when we were kids. Those are the best relationships. We know each other, so we know what we're thinking, right? We know every embarrassing thing, every great thing. We've shared life. And but he gave me this most beautiful wooden bow and arrow. And when you pull the string and let it go, it makes a frequency, a sound, right? And so that is about the sound, the frequency that we hold. We want to hold that original ohm. We want to hold the right frequency because frequency, energy makes form and matter. And then we want to shoot our arrows up. Our arrows are our thoughts. We want to have good thoughts, high frequency thoughts. And then to tell the truth, it's more than just like where our Sammy here, like if your wife says, do I look fat in these jeans? It's not about that, right? It's about holding truth, that original ohm. We hold the perfect creator's perfect idea, love and peace and joy and kindness, those high frequencies. That's truth. That's Asha, my friends. Oh, there I go. Back into Magi mode. So this is funny. She says, imagine what that's like, having to tell the truth in today's world, she said. It got me into so much trouble as a girl. Everyone thought I was a nasty little brat who reveled in being rude. The waiter in a posh restaurant asked, did you enjoy your meal? And I reply, no, not at all. The mother of a classmate asked after a birthday party, so little Sammy, did you have a good time? And I honestly tried to squeeze a yes out of myself, but all I can manage is no, it was horrid. I love Sammy so much. And your breath stinks from all the red wine you drink. Oh, Purdue chuckled. And this is deep again. Look at this. It's amazing how close you are to your essential self as a kid. And he thought how far from it you drift, the more you strive to be loved, right? We create an image to present to the world that we think will be accepted, that will be loved, and we lose ourselves. How sad is that? Isn't it nice when you find a pirate crew that you can be your real self with? Book club. Who's still here? We're about 14 minutes into it. Say hello. I already know who's here. I love you. Big group hug to my wonderful book club that I love so much. Here comes Cornholio. Just then, Cornholio brought them some homemade lavender ice cream. It had a tangy yet floral flavor. I love Cornholio being a part of this because, again, it's just a passion for something else. I used to have a passion for photography until film went away. I still love taking pictures. It's not the same going to get them developed and stuff. And so here he's got this passion for food. Oh, I love that. One of my jobs I did, because I worked on boats down at the ocean. Sometimes we'd have a little bit of off-season when it started to get too cold. People didn't want to be out on boats. And I remember one year I took just a winter job during the Christmas season at Williams Sonoma. Are you guys familiar with that? It's like a shop that has cooking utensils and knives and recipes and just I loved it so much. And I went through a cooking phase. I started watching the cooking channel, doing all the cooking around the house. I really got into it. So I could see that happening again someday, especially as they talk about this French food. I don't know much about French food. I know Italian food, but it sounds real buttery and croissants, and I want to get more, check more into French food. So now Cornholio brings them their little ice cream treat, and now the woman with no aptitude for lying watch the Neapolitan walk away. I don't know what a Neapolitan is. I don't think is it a compliment? I'm not sure, because she goes on to say, he's short, he's fat, and objectively speaking, not the most obvious choice of a pinup boy, but he's smart, strong, and he can probably do whatever is necessary for a life of love. Yeah, I could say that's how I kind of picture him from what we've seen so far. I think he's the most beautiful man I will ever kiss, said Sammy. Oh, that is so sweet. It's strange that magnificent, good-hearted people like him don't receive more love. Amen, sister. Do their looks disguise their character so well that nobody notices how open their soul, their being, and their principles are to love and kindness? Again, I've been single for a long time, so that kind of hit home with me. And it's funny, you guys have probably seen when I grow out my beard super long, no romance is going to happen. And I've been at out, and moms would take their children, arm around, protect them from this homeless person. It's like, I'm sorry, sir, I have no spare change for you. I'm like, woman, I ain't broke. I live on the lake, for God's sake. This is just who I am. I've stopped trying to hide my true self to be loved. I don't know if romance will ever be in the cards for me, but I get love now, at least from my wonderful friends, that I've made that are real friends that love me for who I am, and I love you guys for who you are. Okay, now, Monsieur Perdue, he's thinking, he knows the question he needs to ask. Now, especially knows that she can't lie. Sammy, he asked. And here we are. We got one sentence left, and she's so beautiful with her writing. She spoke differently, but that was always the case. The way an author wrote was the true sound of her heart and soul, right? Authors, painters, artists, singers, they show their true self in their art. I love that. So here's what he says. You wrote Southern Lights, didn't you? I think we'll find out. I'm hoping in 33. I'll probably see you guys back tonight to find out. Oh, I'm loving this. And I love, love, love you.